Dude.
All right.
I am so pumped every time I hear that. Every time I see that intro, dude.
Love it. What's going on, everyone? It's Ryan, the Colossus Collector, and this session of the Council of X is now in session. And guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. We've obviously been kind of waiting for this moment to get to the end of X-Men 97 so that we can have this big kind of end of season debrief discussion. We've also got Josh coming in. So I just want to go around the horn, introduce everybody as usual. So we've got Eric from Sasquatch Comicx. We've got Chris from Cheddar Comics. We've got John from John's Comics for Kids. Troy from Awesome Toy Box with Troy. Dan from Dan's X-Men Comics. Bruce from Up North Comics. And like I said, Josh from Sasquatch Comicx. Woo! Thanks for joining us guys tonight. Nice to have John and Troy with the council for the first time tonight.
Welcome.
I've been really looking forward to having you guys on. So thanks for joining. Got a few people in the chat so far.
Yep.
Of course,
Solid
we've got
teleport. Absolutely agree.
John and Dan. And then we've also got Solid Teleport. Thanks for tuning in.
Definitely.
X-Men 97 can't get here fast enough. And we've got Brandon Metro as well. Oh, and we've got Mike from Lunch Money Comics joining us. And we've got the whole council together.
All right.
Hold on, Mike.
Rep the ice, bro.
Hey guys. Missing the game.
Cool. What up, Mike?
Worth it for you guys.
Oh, dude.
Right out the bat.
Your team eliminated my team, so now I don't care about hockey anymore. So I'm sure you can keep an eye on it. So I just wanted to.
I got it live right now.
Oh, there you have it.
Oh yeah, Bruce too, right? So I wanted I wanted to start off. Obviously, I know everybody has loved the show, so I'm not going to ask you guys if you love it or not. But what I wanted to ask each one of you guys to start is, now that it's done, now that we've reached our 10 episodes, the first season's done, how are we feeling emotionally? How are we feeling now that the season's done? I'm going to throw it down to Dan. Why don't we start with Dan?
Oh man, how are we feeling? I'm feeling good, man. I am feeling good. I guess like there's always been that thought, like it was the last time that we had the meeting. Like, I hope that this isn't the peak right now, because you can feel it in the air. You can feel the X-Men mania, and
oh yeah,
that it tends to, markets and all that kind of stuff when you're testing how, the level is. When you feel like it's never going to end and it's just going to keep getting hyped forever, that tends to be, somewhere where it's tippity-toppity. And I'm optimistic that there's a lot of room to run. And and I do think that that's true as far as like people, just the general public being excited about X-Men. And that's where I'm at.
What about you, John? What are you thinking? How are you feeling?
It's hard not to be optimistic. I think it's hard not to be feeling like, as much as I loved Logan and all the live action films, I'm happy. I can happily watch pretty much any of them. There's a few that, I'm looking at you, X3, but like there's a few that I can't watch as many times. But it was great to see something that felt pure, that felt like so like on it. And just so in the moment. And so in that way, it just felt very fulfilling to feel like, look, somebody hit the nail on the head. Doesn't matter what else comes later. I felt the same way watching the 5th Indiana Jones movie last night. Like, at least I can always go back and say, they made Raiders of the Lost Ark. They did it. They did it right. It doesn't matter what else comes after. It doesn't matter if they make a horrible Deadpool Wolverine movie. I still have this season.
Truly,
I wanted to just jump in. I forgot to mention at the top. So if you go to menti.com and put in the code 63939093,
Oh wow.
you can rank the 10 episodes of season 1, and we'll have this running through the whole episode, and we'll pop in and kind of do a little poll ranking update as the night
going right
goes
now.
on.
You're gonna have to retell me the URL and the code.
It's
right
running
there.
right along the ticker there.
Oh,
Dan. Information is
Teaching Dan.
right there at your fingertips whenever you need it.
appreciate
All
it.
right, so how are you feeling, Chris?
I think what we just watched as a, you can't really say much for the future, right? So let's just stay in the present. And in the present, I think we just watched easily the greatest piece of X-Men media ever created. And I don't know what number 2 would be. It's really not important.
I dig it.
But this show, when you're a little older, you get to appreciate, when you're watching something really special, and this was, you knew it as it went on, and it's definitely going to be a peak. I don't know how many valleys we'll have after this, but it was definitely a peak. Somehow they tied the old with the new and blazed their own way somehow and melted all that together. I think it's a marvel, a modern marvel, what we just watched.
I like
Troy,
that.
what do you think? How are you feeling?
To be honest, I think it left you overwhelmed. Like you're going so many places with it. Like I felt like they streamed so much smashed in for 10 episodes. I don't see how season 2 is going to be able to get through all 3 of these branching storylines and not leave us confused. I feel like they're going to have to really they're going to have to be more than 10 episodes is all I can say. There's only going to be 10. I'm going to be like, oh my God, we're going to be lost.
Overwhelmed. All right. Eric, how are you feeling?
Well, one of the things that I find interesting about this, I guess you'd call it new show, new season, is that originally, they were working with so much source material. And now it's like they have 20 plus years of new source material that they can, tap into. And I think that's a big key of why the show was so rich in the storytelling. There was just that much more playground to mess with, and I'm excited to see what, where do we go? What are the storylines? Now, the current season was great because it was a good reintroduction. Let's establish where we are. It's been 20 some years since we originally saw these characters. So it was a nice refresher, but yet at the same time, the stakes were pretty high. So they jumped right into it, which was really cool.
Bruce, how you feeling?
I am lagging the hell out right now, so you're gonna have to bear with me.
Okay. Josh, how
My
are you
internet
feeling?
is wicked slow.
No, you good? You good? You look good to me.
Cheap hotel internet.
All good,
But,
Bruce. Just jump in whenever.
So I think that the new season is both clean, it's very well written, it's very well put together. I think we're in it for the long run for season 2, and it's gonna be a wild ride. It really is. Just all the way through, all the way through this season into next season and then some. Like I said, it's gonna be a thing that's talked about for a long time.
Josh, how are you feeling?
Have you guys heard of the simulation theory that we're all living in a simulation?
Sure.
Which kind of backs up, we are created by a creator, so there's not an argument there. I got to tell you, I see things like this show and watching it with my daughter and seeing her be like, the Beast, Wolverine, Jubilee. And it's just this, I'm living in a simulation that was designed specifically for me. So maybe you guys are living in my simulation. Maybe I'm a part of yours, but it's like
I'm happy to be here,
perfect
Josh. I'm
reality
happy
when
to
it
be
comes
here.
to the warm bath of X-Men, the warm glow. Other aspects of my life is not so great in the simulation at times. Let me tell you, when it comes to the X-Men, we're in the best
I'm
reality.
happy to be an NPC in your world, bro.
Mike, how you feeling?
I have mixed emotions, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I'm sad that it's going to be a while for us to wait. You know, I'm also a little bummed. Bo DeMeo. Who knows what happened,
Yeah,
but
period.
you know, the guy knew his X-Men, that's for sure. I think the show pulled off two minor miracles. One, it respected the source material and also respected its audience. The MCU hasn't always done that. They tend to just like have to over-explain things. They just jumped right into it, assuming a lot of people knew what the X-Men were, and we all watched it and catered to that. And at the same time, people have no idea who the X-Men were, lost their minds on this. And to Josh's point, my kids thought that was like the greatest cartoon they've ever watched. I had a couple of those moments, and I'm like, that's an amazing magic trick that Bo DeMeo pulled off. The fact that we can like sit there and just like go nuts and geek out and remember when we were being kids and have a complete new audience respond the same way. That's a pretty good trick right there. Hit it on the head. And I will say one last thing. That episode 5, I mean, the whole season was great, but that episode 5, that last 10 minutes is the best thing Disney Marvel has done since Endgame. Hands down. I've watched it like 4 times. It's incredible. Emmy worthy. So
I thought you were going to say that it did something amazing. It made Cyclops cool, which I think is a really challenging thing.
It really did. Yeah.
You know, I'm actually kind of surprised that Mike was the only person who ended up saying or referencing feeling a little bit sad, because I really thought that would have been maybe the predominant feeling, is that it's over. But I was thinking the same as all of you guys. Like, I'm actually not sad. I'm just super pumped and excited about where we're going. Like, this is the start of an X-Men era, in my opinion. That's, you know, of course, like, we gotta hope that they do it all good, or at least most of it good, but it really feels like this show is kind of almost gonna guide Marvel.
I can't understand anything you're saying at all.
Well, sorry, Bruce.
What?
So Bruce is having
Bruce, come
trouble.
over to my house. He's only like 2 towns away from me. He's just come on over.
Yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to say, like, I really think that this show's kind of a great guide for what they should keep doing, and like, it's just proving to Marvel that X-Men is a cash cow. People want it, people love it, and they really killed it. So I'm just super excited about where we're going with it, and
Stay true to the source material.
And to your point about Bo DeMeo, I did just see something that one of the Marvel execs is quoted to say that they're still sticking to his vision for season 2. So knowing that he already wrote season 2, season 2 is still in good writer's hands. And then who knows, maybe that's enough time to maybe bring him back in some capacity. You never know. They brought back James Gunn after firing him and stuff like that. So maybe they'll still bring him back.
I think the strangest melancholy feeling I have is this is so good. I'm actually dreading the live action, because I don't think they can do a lot of what they just pulled off. You can't pull that off in live action without it being disappointing or looking kind of weird. So
yeah, I do expect something different, a different tone.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm optimistic.
I'm optimistic, but I am still setting the bar a little lower.
I'm extremely pessimistic. Just assume it's going to be awful, you know,
and then you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Exactly.
And then you'll be happy if it's good, but just assume it's going to be bad, because it's like we all got to watch Haley's Comet go by. You know, I think expecting it to come back. Yeah. The only good thing I like is that I think Bo DeMeo kind of poisoned the well in a good way. That's like it has to be like It has to be
He
like
set that
this
high bar.
good now.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So
I don't know,
hopefully
He could be the
Homers.
X-Men Dave Filoni, right? He could just become the Dave
Yeah.
Filoni of the X-Men universe.
Well, they have the blueprint. They know what to do, but like Mike was right. Like, how do they set the bar so high with the action scenes? How do they bring that to the live screen? Well, being a homer and seeing the first X-Men movie when it came out, even though I know it fell short of my imagination, it was still X-Men on the big screen, and I was all about it all day.
Yeah, that's the last time I kind of remember hype close to what we got right now was when that first movie came out. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, the X-Men live action!" And I'm afraid at the time it was very good. I mean, it was top of the special effects and all that. But just like normal movies, budgets get cut, so it gets a little bit worse. And yeah.
I'm happy you guys mentioned that though in the original movie, because I read a fantastic review when someone hit it on the head. They said this show reminded people of how it was in the 90s when Marvel had Spider-Man and the X-Men, and that was what Marvel was. And this reminded people like, oh yeah, they're the best thing in Marvel next to Spider-Man. And I think that really accomplished that. People they forgot about these characters. They forgot how cool they were and how relevant they are. I mean, the same things that were in the 60s, guys, are still happening today. People still relate to them. Those undertones were very, very obvious in the season. And I think I think they're almost more important today, So
100%.
I'm happy the world is reminded that that's Marvel.
Yes.
I'm just glad I can finally tell people who say DC animation's better than Marvel to shut up.
No arguments with me from me on that one, but I'm a noted Marvel supporter and bias, so I'll sign up for that, Troy. I wanted to, before we get too far, sort of, always like to have our little segment.
Give it to me.
Pages of X. So here we go.
Pages of X.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Alex, the Comic Hoarder. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Council of X and for having me be a part of tonight's episode, as I'll be reading from X-Men number 25. Hopefully you enjoy. Logan. Oh, Lord, Logan. No. Magnus, for the love of God, don't do this. Now play the insolent. Now plunder the gods' privileges and give them to creatures of a day. What drop of your suffering can mortals spare you? We are all but bit players in a tragedy far larger than any of us. A tragedy called life, Logan. But today, for you, perhaps for me, the curtain falls and the play is finished. Wolverine doesn't scream. Indeed, he doesn't even have time, as the adamantium which long ago was bonded to his very bones is destabilized on a molecular level, ripped from the mooring, and forced through his open wounds, erupting like water bursting through a dam. As he falls, the stillness of pure horror surrounds the killing ground, broken only by the voice of one person who has, since the day she first met him, and perhaps always will, love him.
Woo! Chills.
Thank you to Alex, the Comic Hoarder, for coming in and doing a page read. Loved it.
Wow.
And super obviously appropriate page, because we got that. Literally, that page was like ripped out of a comic book and animated for us in this show, along with so many other awesome moments that came straight from the pages of X. So it was really great to be able to do some of those pages on our council meetings and just kind of remind everybody the source material of where this stuff comes from. So again, thanks to Alex. That was a really great.
He did a great reading. That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Awesome.
Great page.
And if anybody's watching and you want to do a page of X for the council,
I'll hook you up this weekend. I'll make that happen.
Look me up on Instagram and we'll make it happen. I've got a few names in the hopper that I wanna get. So always looking for more people to read. And
Probably easier to get them than a giveaway, y'all. So get in it.
Can we get Christopher Walken to do a Pages of X?
Oh my
X Plus. That'd be great.
We love the X-Men.
To me, my X-Men. So I wanted to go through a few of our favorites of the season to kind of just touch on moments that really stood out to us. So I want to start with your favorite moments, like singular moments, not episodes. Just like, what was your absolute favorite moment from this first season of X-Men 97? I'll give you guys a second to think it over. I will start with mine, just so you have a little bit of time to think about it. So I think for me, my favorite moment, I don't want to steal the probably the most obvious.
Take it away, Ryan.
Go ahead, take it.
It's all yours, bro.
Drop the hammer.
For me, I honestly, it was that moment that Alex just did. I thought it was just, I don't know, I didn't really expect it, and then it happened, and it was just like it really was a big pivotal moment. There's another moment I think would be a contender for me, but the adamantium removal was like pretty hard hitting for me, and was probably my favorite moment of the show. Oh,
What you got there, Eric?
Eric's doing his
my thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that same exact scene, and I didn't realize until seeing that that, like you said, Ryan, they just gave us that frame right from the comic book, because I think when we all read it, we all felt it our own way. And like, they didn't give us a way that it was done. They gave us the panel that we all felt originally. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting too meta on it, but
they hardly even animated the adamantium coming out. It was literally like a parallax effect on a still, basically just that moment caught in time. And that's where we that was the end of the episode. Boom. It was so like
good. Great
powerful.
Hard cut. Yeah.
And it was like a really great homage to the page and to the art of that page.
Absolutely.
So
to the soundless, it says in the reading, like Wolverine doesn't even make a sound.
So true. It's like, it's just ominous, and it's such a cliffhanger moment. It was powerful. I really, really enjoyed that.
They did that several times. Even in like Professor X shutting down Magneto's brain is the exact same famous, but not only from the comic, but there's a couple of cards from the set. Like, it's that shot.
Yeah,
they really respected the source material. I think we can all agree.
Beam coming from the head of Professor X, Magneto's head snapping back, and it's just so good, so good. I don't want to take any more moments. So, who wants to go next? Who's got a favorite moment?
Well, I mean, so I already mentioned that's like a favorite moment, but I think the favorite moment for me is the build up to Genosha being wiped out, and how powerful that was, and Cable running up to Madeline and her seeing his eyes, and how that plays out later, and just all the implications of it was just so incredibly moving. And like, I can leave it up there because we all experienced it on such a visceral level. But that was just powerful stuff.
I'll throw mine in. I think the easy low-hanging fruit for me would be how well-profiled Nightcrawler was. Obviously, he was fantastic. The scene with him and Wolverine was one of the best action scenes. But it's actually not my favorite. As much as I love that, I cannot get away from two scenes featuring Storm in her full power. Because the music, the way they did that, the Omega level threat, she actually seemed like a goddess and like ludicrously powerful. But it's because I was watching with my kids, and both of them, their visceral reaction to like wow, Storm is amazing. And my daughter said, I didn't know Storm was that powerful. I'm like, oh, yes, she is. And I think for that moment to watch my kids realize what she is, because no one's done her justice. No one can do her justice outside the comic books. That was the first time I said, they nailed Storm. That's Storm right there. So for me, it's that first time Omega threat detected was legit.
I just went on record. Mike gave like 4 scenes, so I get to do like 4 like scenes.
Fine,
right?
all good, all good.
Someone else take Nightcrawler. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna go with Magneto's speech at the end of episode 2. Like he just when he pulls them up into the atmosphere and he basically just gives them what for. The Trial of Magneto is one of my favorite comics ever, and I know they couldn't recreate it, but in their own way they really did, and that was the most perfectly done bit of dialogue, and he lays it all out, and the air is getting thin and he's just up there showing them what he can do and reminding them that that as much as he's willing to say this is equal parts human and mutant, they need to toe their line or he's not going to toe his. And I thought that was just really, really well done. So I love that just monologue from him. Just he crushed it.
So many great.
Now
mine goes hand in hand with John's. I just realizing how powerful Magneto is. I downplayed his powerfulness. You guys watched that where I ranked the movie.
Now's your time to take it all back, Bruce.
Yeah. So
Mia Culpa right here.
yeah. It was just realizing how powerful he really, truly is.
Put on the helmet, Eric. Put on the helmet.
Well,
so that was my favorite moment.
Now, to follow up, like Magneto, since we're on this bandwagon, John, you mentioned his speech, and I like the fact that they revisited those points he was making towards the end, and he said basically, "See, didn't I tell you guys?" And then like Rogue joined them, and Sunspot joined them, and the fact that the team was kind of acting shocked, but it's like, but they have good reason, to go with him and to see his viewpoints, because they've been beating their heads against the wall with Xavier's dream. So maybe it's time to try something different, something new. So I really like that reinforcement of Magneto was right,
which makes the villain so much more than just the black hat wearing character. You completely sympathize and understand their plight.
It makes the whole ecosystem so gray. Like you have it is not as black and white as most superhero movies might be.
Completely.
Chris, Troy, favorite moments?
I mean, I feel cliche saying it, but the end of Remember It with Rogue.
That's the one I was referencing that I didn't want.
Somebody has to say it.
Yeah. I know, and I'm like, I can't feel you. Like, and I watched it the first time I welled up, and I was like, I'm kind of caught off guard from that. And then I watched it again, knowing that it was coming, and I knew that she was going to say that, and I was more emotional the second time, and I was like, I think a tear is going to drop.
For real.
There was a couple moments like that, I thought. Did
you get a little bottle to catch it?
Yeah.
That was the biggest one, but I can remember,
guys. That's
like Cable and, with Madeline and then Jean with Storm. And I mean, there's a couple tearjerker moments.
So I think for a cartoon, an animated show, an X-Men show to cut so deep into you, I mean, I'll never forget that. That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And I almost went with Storm's letter because I bawled during that first time when Jean reads Storm's letter. Like it's just as brutal.
Oh my God.
I honestly thought everybody would say Jubilee taking on Bastion would be everybody's favorite.
Nothing Jubilee does is ever my favorite moment.
I would say mine, I mean, just because it's fresh in my mind, because I watched the last episode twice in a row because my dogs were interrupting me the first one. So I was like, I rewatched it. I kind of got taken out of it for a little bit because of Rogue's voice, the way she talks. And I'm like, she was so emotional. And then she came off as just like she didn't even care. And then that fight scene when it flips and she's like, remember his name. That was, I mean, that like you could like all that emotion, you could just see it. I mean, there was just that she wasn't thinking, she was just pure unleashed.
It's rage.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hateful rage.
No. I mean, Nightcrawler's eulogy. Like just every single word, like the dialogue in general, like they are nailing everybody's personality, and they send such a strong message across in so many different ways. It's the rewatchability on this whole show is amazing. But I'm going to pull a mic and then say that it was not my favorite part.
Oh,
and yeah, that was a great part. But here we go. It was that montage scene, or like it was like a cut scene. I honestly can't even remember. I think it was in the second episode when they're giving birth to Nathan.
wow.
And it's cutting between different characters and showing how they're dealing with these emotional moments. Like that was something that just really brought me in, and just like I was absorbed into the show. There's just, all right, here's a cliche moment. You can't pick one. Too many moments. The dialogue of each character explains their personality and their relationships so well without actually even having to get in depth with it. It's incredible. Enough. Next.
Marshall thinks Rogue sounds like she smokes cigarettes.
She definitely does.
Talking about sugar?
Yeah. Storm and Forge's voice acting. I loved that 15-minute part episode with them together.
Well, since we're on the topic, like that was one of the things going into the series that I was very curious about, is like how much is it going to feel like the previous series that I loved. And you know what, over the episodes, that became less and less of a thing I cared about. But like the first episode, there were things like I was critical, like, oh, you know, this voice Wolverine doesn't sound the same anymore, even though it's the same guy, you know. And they
Did you want like an Australian accent? Is that the?
No, that's a different.
Leaving the kid behind.
Jeez, it's a kid. No, but
It hurts.
that bothered me less and less, and I just sort of like got used to the characters the way they were. I mean, I wish Wolverine sounded a little bit more like he used to, but the show's just.
I'm
so
curious
good.
how many, by just like how many people watched any at all of the previous show before watching this jumping on? Because I did not.
Like recently, you mean?
Yeah, just in the month or two preceding.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't want to like taint
all
it
the way up to it.
I had a memory of what it was, so I really didn't want to touch it. I just wanted to let the nostalgia sit, and now I'm curious to go back and watch it all as like one big run.
Yeah.
But I didn't want in any way to like feel the jump in time so starkly.
Okay.
That's a good approach.
I think I was mostly impressed. It is, but honestly, other than the animation clearly being better, I thought the voice acting was fantastic. It was absolutely great, and I was actually most surprised. The guy who does Cyclops, 100%. You know, the original guy passed away.
Yeah,
spot on. I mean, absolutely kills it. Cyclops is fantastic.
It's literally
the voice acting was great all throughout. Like exactly right.
Yeah, it's like exactly the same guy, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. Bastion though threw me off because in my mind, reading the comic books, he did not sound like that. He just sounded like a guy. But it worked so well by the time he got to the end, you know, because he's such a monster, this mechanical thing, but they humanize him in a lot of ways, and it works so much better. They could have gone the full, like, robot, you know, like, personless, you know, motionless Nimrod kind of thing. I think they made a great decision to humanize him.
Yeah, he was so nonchalant, the way that he would explain all these things, just like it's a matter of fact, and just without, but like very little emotion, and just... Yeah, I agree with you there.
And like Sinister was another one I thought I'd be really picky about, because Sinister had this like synthesized sound in the original show. And although it wasn't a carbon copy exact from the original show, they did a very similar kind of effect. He had this like slithery kind of, you know, dark creaturey sound to his voice, which was really well done.
Ryan, I remember before the show started, you said that. You said you hope they keep that weird metallic sound to Sinister's voice. You
Yeah,
got your wish.
I did. And then now my next one is Apocalypse, because Apocalypse had this gravitas that he had in the original, and I want that as well. And they, we'll talk about it a little later, but they teased him a bit at the end there, and you heard his voice, and it does sound like they're trying to kind of do it the same, but it wasn't quite the same. So we'll see how it goes. But it was just like one line, right? So I'm not gonna start nitpicking.
Well, you were so picky about the intro that you never know.
Well, the intro is the one still a little bit of a thing.
Vanilla Ice.
It's
every time it starts, I always think of you, Ryan.
It's the
and I
music.
imagine you're watching it being like,
same.
But then
The
you're
music isn't
happy
loud
anyway.
enough. And
I didn't hear it till you said it, Ryan. You ruined it for me. Now I notice it every time.
Sorry. But yeah, like the original just had like way more to it, and I just liked the instrumentation in the original compared to
Did it, or is that just as a kid it had such power?
No,
You're
it
tripping,
does.
Ryan.
It
You're
does.
tripping.
If you go back and watch, like it's louder, and
It's got more
More
kick to it.
mono. It's more
find
mono.
it starts really
Treble.
soft now, and like that's. But what?
Can someone watching who really likes Ryan redub every episode with the original music?
Wow.
I might do that. Don't sue me, Disney. All right, so now I want to ask your favorite character. One character. Do not waffle. Don't give me 4. I want your one top tier character. Who stood out? Who was the best character for you in the show this season?
Which order are we going in?
Wait, hold up though. Now, is this favorite character? Because you can't change my favorite character.
No.
But can we say like most improved character?
For you,
You know what
Dan,
I'm
yes.
Don't pick it because it's your favorite character in X-Men. Pick it. It's your favorite character in the show. Just like the voice was good, the role was good, the things they said. Like base it on that.
There's too many.
I'm jumping in so no one can beat me.
Cable.
Cable.
Josh.
Nathan, it makes me want to go
100%.
back and read everything Cable, because when he came in New Mutants, like he was supposed to, his design was to be like a more battle tested Xavier, and then of course his whole story and how his origin played out in the show is a little different than how they're doing it, but I know we're going to get into how the show goes on, but like Ascani and Rachel being able to see, anyways, I just loved everything about it and all the throwbacks with his eyes and the connection and how Jean is able to like bring that connection of Madeline and his parents, and it just expanded what I've already a awesome foundation of a character in my top 5 favorite X-Men to begin with.
I loved when he put on the blue and yellow suit. That was awesome.
Yeah, what did you expect? Leather?
I've never really loved Cable's OG like weird like collared.
The shoulder pads weren't doing it for you. Okay.
Yeah, it's it also the colors are weird. Like they're all over the place. Like and they're all muted, weird muted colors. When he gets into that blue and yellow, he looks way more badass to me. But
Plus a great joke to the original movie, right?
Yeah, that was awesome. Also a great line there. I'm
gonna go next before anybody steals mine. Mine is Magnus.
Magnus, Eric Lencher,
100%.
Dude.
Just the raw power of Magneto just really shined through that whole season. Like that really showed me how powerful he is.
Well, my favorite power moment was when he emitted that EMP. I was like, damn.
He like reverses the poles or something, or the magnetic poles, and just
that was badass.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Another favorite moment when Magnus is protecting I can't remember his name.
Leech.
Yes.
Leech,
that moment, and they show the close up of the eyes and just like
and then Leech protects him because Leech pulls his power away so that the Sentinel can't recognize him, which is why the Sentinel says Omega threat not detected or whatever.
And Leech is is like one of the reasons what Magnus is doing this for, right? It's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump in and we were crapping on Rogue a little bit, her voice acting or whatever, but I'm gonna pick Rogue. It seems easy because she's never been a character that I like adored, and I think she's cool. But I've always been a Ms. Marvel fan. Like there's Carol's right there.
Yeah.
But the way they use her top to bottom, the love story that is so tragically shattered, and then that Captain America, throwing his shield out into the wilderness. Like I just loved.
Eric's got a book for everything that
he's read.
Yeah, he is. I love this.
I just love that they gave her like a full episode of just let me grieve and mess some crap up. I'm just gonna.
She's so emotional throughout, and it is almost the centerpiece of the entire season.
Yeah, at that episode 5 and on, you can just see she's the bloody open wound of the whole series. So I loved it. Yeah, I thought they used her perfectly.
Love that.
All right. Who's up next? Who's got their favorite one?
Can I just go last and take whoever's left over?
Yeah, go last. Mike wanted to jump in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna second Bruce. I mean, listen, every single character, every single one, their coolness factor and their relevancy went up. Like everyone immediately in the first episode said, "Wow, Cyclops is way cooler now." Rogue, they did so much justice to her. They did that for every single character in the show. But I think the character that benefited the most by far was Magneto. Magneto, the way they did him reminded everyone why he is almost certainly the best villain in all of comic books. You can call him a villain because he is more sympathetic than any other antagonist in any comic medium, honestly. Because Magneto is right, that being the whole, like catchphrase later on in the season. I don't think there's a single viewer that watched this show that didn't think that he was right. Name me one other superhero anything that you were that convinced that the supervillain was the good guy. It's Magneto. Magneto was the star of this show, star of season 1, hands down. Eric, nah.
Great art by the Hildebrand brothers, though.
Let me ask you a question, Mike. Did Bruce win his brownie points back for you?
Sorry, did you ask me?
For Mike.
Mike. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I missed who you targeted that or
Mike. I am literally right down the road from you, so
I'm being very careful. No, but I mean, listen, this is what the show did for a lot of people, not just Bruce, who's actually a comic collector and lover. I think a lot of people said, "Oh, wait, we had no idea what Magneto was." And this,
I didn't.
The show encapsulated him. It was like how Infinity War was Thanos. It was actually about Thanos. X-Men 97 Series 1, Season 1 was all about Magneto and nailed it.
Oh yeah. I agree with Mike 100%.
Yeah.
Eric?
Well, let's see. Josh did Cable, which I was going to pick. John did Rogue, which is one of my favorite characters. We got Magneto. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Storm. Now, while I didn't like what they did in the beginning with her, when they kind of went retro with her, and when she got her powers back, they showed the full magnitude of her, like when they're doing that final battle above the island, and you just saw that huge hurricane. It's just like, oh my damn, she's messing.
I figured since Eric was talking, I'd hold up the book instead this time.
Thank you for compensating.
Thank you for stepping in, John. We needed someone to
But yeah, we already mentioned how they showed her level of power, and I not just the power level, but I loved seeing them establish those relationships, what they kept calling their chosen family, like with her and Jean. I loved seeing that in the cartoon. It wasn't just an action flick, it was more personal, these relationships that they built with each other. So I really liked seeing that, that super powerful side of Storm, but then also that very soft side of the caring mother type figure that, we kind of love about her.
I actually felt that Storm, she was awesome. I felt they kind of like held her back a little bit in that second last episode. I was like, she could destroy all these Sentinels. Come on. Did you see the first episode? Like,
yeah.
Like I just felt like they were holding her back a little bit. Like she could have
That's the
gone
biggest challenge, right?
tornadoes, lightning all at once, just boom, 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 done. But you gotta keep the
Yeah,
stakes high, and
How do you nerf the OP players?
I know, yeah,
to make everything work because they could just play waste.
I get it. Troy, what was your favorite character?
Already been said, but I'm sticking with Rogue too. She kind of grabbed a hold of me when she did the petty thing with Captain America, when she grabs his shield and then she flings it. Like, I mean, it's just how petty that is, because Cap can't fly and she's got super strength. So she just flung that thing. How long did he have to look for that? It has no tracker on it. People don't think about that. That's what I was thinking. Was like, how is he gonna get that back?
Cap runs fast, but he's not that fast.
I want a whole one shot just on Cap fighting wolves and dealing with the frostbite and trying to find this thing.
Just
bringing the Infinity Stones back.
Frustrated, and he meets a Yeti. Whatever. Just tell me the story.
I love that though, that Rogue just doesn't give a shit about Captain America and his shield. Just like the Avengers at that time when we were reading, when it was Mike said earlier, like it was X-Men and Spider-Man. Who is who? Avengers who? B tier. So I don't know.
Yeah. Chris,
me and Mike are a little heartbroken right now.
I had a feeling. I didn't want to bring it up. Chris, what did
the Bruins lose?
No,
they're about to.
They're not. Isn't it still second period?
Oh, it's a minute left.
Oh shoot! Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Florida score with a minute and a half left.
Super chat.
Creighton, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm joining late. Have we addressed Mike's offensive shirt and hat yet? Go Habs! Oh, bad. Rough timing. Soon. But I really appreciate the super chat.
The way I look at it, Bruins fans, and I know at this moment when I'm talking, you're all Bruins fans, whether you like it or not. But they got into the second round. They put up a good fight. So
more than
next year.
All right, back on the rails here. Let's get it back.
It's all Arabic to me. I don't know what any of these words are.
It's sports ball. It's all sports ball.
Chris won our X-Men draft, so let's give him credit.
So if he's left, and I think that he got his moment in the, once the first episode came out. But I mean, he was so redeemed through the whole season, and it was Cyclops. He had that great first episode, and I think what's interesting about the show, to use Cyclops as a microcosm for a lot of the characters, is since the animated show ended and since this one began, the only thing you've had is Fox movies, and the Fox movies just fumbled so many characters like Storm or Cyclops to their full potential. And especially Cyclops. I mean, I like James Marsden, but he's pretty much just like a cuck in the corner between Jean and Wolverine. And, he doesn't really unleash his powers. And
how do you feel about Zac Efron? We don't have to get into that.
I gotta sleep on that one.
I don't know. Too handsome?
Yeah, but we're gonna cover his eyes, so
he's got that new chin, so I guess that would be showing.
I could see it, but I think there's better choices out there.
Yeah, I think so. So, because he's the only one that wasn't talked about. I'd say Cyclops was really redeemed.
I did have an eye-rolling moment, Cyclops, when they were in the car, him, Jean, and Cable, and he says, "Let's show them why nobody messes with the summer." I was like, oh my God.
That was a Fast and the Furious moment. For me, it was the falling from space and stopping himself with his power thing. I still can't get over it.
That was pretty cool.
It's cool to watch, but it's it's not. They have the very scene in X-Men 94, and he can't do that. So I don't get why they flipped the script on it. So it bugs me a little bit because I love X-Men 94.
Yeah. Okay, Dan, you said you wanted to go last, so I'm going to go ahead of you.
Yeah, please.
And my choice, it would have been it's between two guys, but I'm gonna pick the one guy that hasn't been mentioned, and that's Nightcrawler.
I thought you picked Colossus. He had a great. Oh no, wait, he wasn't in the show.
We'll get
on the wall at the
we're gonna
end.
get into that a little later. But Nightcrawler,
Burn, bro.
I love that Nightcrawler got added to the team. Brings that soul, and they really just they nailed his character. I like that he was a little bit smaller than he was in the original animation show, and I just love like he was there for all those like really deep, heartfelt moments, and brought a lot of soul and heart to it. And then he was killer. He was that scene with Wolverine fighting off the Prime Sentinels at the mansion. I mean, that was one of the best action sequences of the show. So I was I love Nightcrawler. I think he opens up so much potential for future seasons and episodes. So I really liked how they brought him in, and he was my favorite character, along with Magneto.
Yeah, and Magneto.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Still only 35 cents.
Mike, you okay?
Let's not pick at it. Come on.
I'm better with you guys. Hey, listen.
Yeah. Let's get his mind off his troubles.
Listen. Now we have lots of NHL losers hanging out with a whole bunch of X-Men fans. So
welcome to my club.
That's true.
I will say that
that was a problem. What
do you want?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Though, for while you did leave to pace back and forth or whatever, we did get to see the awesome comics from behind you that we normally can't see. So I do appreciate the opportunity to see that awesome wall. For me, I mean, you all said it all, right? Like, another amazing moment in the show when Cyclops and Beast were confronting their reporters about mutants coexisting with humans. I mean, there's so many incredible moments, so many incredible characters, so many redeeming characters. Jubilee and Morph had some amazing moments of just showing you that how human they are, and how cool they can be or how funny they can be. I'm going to go with Jean Grey / Madeline Pryor on this one.
Interesting.
I think that she has so much heart, and I think that we can relate to her in a way of like almost like the imposter syndrome. Something that you've made it so far, you have these memories like okay, Total Recall. I was talking to John like last weekend. Total Recall, one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Is this really a dream? Did we really live this moment? There's something about the way that that Jean Grey never really knew, who she was or what was real. And, sometimes I feel like that myself when it comes to, like, did I really achieve this or was this somebody else's doing? And not to mention, she's such a powerful character in the background, but also in the forefront. There's just I am doing a terrible job of explaining why I thought she was such an interesting character, but it really captivated me, and there were so many characters that had these redeeming qualities that I just wrote them off originally that just made them so relatable.
Well, and the way they utilized the motherhood concept between those two ladies, where it's one gave birth, but one is mothering, Nathan, and they both are sharing the trauma of missing out on some of this. Like, it's beautiful the way that it stretches between the two.
Thank you.
And how Nathan comes around by the end. He keeps saying, "You're not my mother," but by the end, he clearly accepts her as his mom.
Well, I mean, genetically, they are. I mean, right. He didn't have, but genetically, that's his mom.
Dig it.
I will say, to add on Dan's thing, I know still going. The one of the funniest things I heard was from my little sister, who's Jean Grey's her favorite character. I think it was a Facebook post, and she said, "Why don't people learn if you throw Jean Grey in the water, she always comes out more powerful?" And it was true. As soon as they throw her into the waterfall, whatever the pond, like, oh, here she comes. Here comes the Phoenix. True. They got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they did that moment. Let me just speak to the like. I'm stoked that they touched on it, but also at the same time, it did feel a little like the throwing everything at the last episode. Like, I don't mean to complain. I definitely not complaining. Stoked that they did it. I think I wouldn't have done it anything differently. Like, but did feel like we were chasing a lot of like, we missed this. Let's when she explains like, the Phoenix Force was just so powerful inside of me. I said out loud like, that's a reasonable comic book explanation of why that happened. I'm good. I'm good with that. Let's just move on. Yeah.
We'll get away with this if she just says this.
Yeah. It was deep inside me. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I took it that she like cried out to the Phoenix Force, and the Phoenix Force came because she talks about how it's 100%. Gone now. Like,
because it was that maternal love, or like there was just such a powerful emotion from
she's
that.
Connected to it forever.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I'm totally good with that.
And we've gotten so many iterations of the Phoenix
Holy
and the Phoenix
smokes,
Force.
my Oregon brother.
Whoa! Wow. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Appreciate that. That's
Jean Grey.
Thank you.
Rising from the ashes right there.
And he's
I love those that they gave us kind of a new combo for Jean's power. Like it was the Phoenix Force and Jean's like telekinetic claws coming, and how she pulled the mutant DNA out of Sinister. I thought was so fucking dope.
It turned Sinister into like the creepiest looking like
old man.
Morph in my mirror.
Show me what I look like. Yeah. Morph is so snappy.
Morph is so happy about doing that too. Like, gladly. Let me do it for you.
Do you mind if we bring it back to Steppo here? Because I do want to touch on because this dude, such a considerate guy. Like not only with the donation to Ryan here, but also still only 35 cents for context here. He had asked, "How's your journey going with the X-Men 1?" So I do want to hear about this, and also Steppo, just an amazing guy. On Instagram, he has.
It's not. It's not
Stucco. No.
You're
I'm mixing the Australian. Okay. The Australian guy. Okay, my bad. I was thinking of Steppo. Okay, the Australian guy. I have something nice to say here too. All right. What an amazing collaboration he did with Ricky to get Ricky his dream collection from all the way across the world. This guy delivered every single cream dream that Ricky, all sorts of words, has ever dreamed of. And you made his wildest dream come true, and he will not stop talking about it. So I hope that you're happy with yourself because you have invaded my personal chat room with Ricky's love for comics.
I love that's what's so great about this community. It's crazy. No other community is like this at all. It's crazy.
I'm glad you got your
I love
book,
it.
And thank you for all the support. Really appreciate it.
Let's hear the update, Ryan. How's it going with the X-Men?
Oh yeah, so I'm actually I owe.
It's right here. No.
Oh wait, I wish. No, I'm building my my war chest for it. Working on it. I've been kind of a little bit preoccupied the last few weeks. I've actually been meaning to shoot a video with a little update on it, so that'll come. But I'm just working on building a fund for it. I'm trying to kind of mostly pay for it out of the hobby, so that's kind of my goal. But I also have the goal to do it this year, so it's we'll see which goal, if they can both be done at the same time. I don't know. But yeah, it's going good. That clean sale we had really helped. Just working towards it. We'll get there. Let's do a quick little check-in on our ranking poll.
I did it, so I don't know if there's just one person who did it, it's me.
So if you just came in, we've got it in the ticker, but you can go to menti.com and use code 63939093 to access this ranking poll. We're ranking the 10 episodes 1 to 10 in real time over the course of the entire episode tonight. So far we've got Remember It at number 1, strongly at number 1. Then we've got To Me, My X-Men, which was the opening episode of the season. Then we've got Tolerance is Extinction Part 2. Mutant Liberation Begins, which is episode 2 of the season. That's the Trial of Magneto. Then we've got Tolerance is Extinction Part 3, followed by Part 1. Then Bright Eyes, Fire Made Flesh, Motendo / Life Death Part 1, and then Life Death Part 2 in the finale. So it seems like Life Death kind of a little bit didn't hit as much, but you know what? I still enjoyed it.
I feel like I kind of need at least like a picture to remind me what those titles.
I had to open them in another tab and kind of just
Well, you know what? I can pull that up for you right now, just on the fly.
The one I picked for number 1 and the 2 I picked for 9 and 10 are right where they were, so I'm fine with the top and bottom.
What's by the way? Yeah, again, my apologies. Still only 35 cents about the misrepresentation there. But man, we got to get you if you're into X-Men, baby. We got to get you on the that X-Men chat.
X-Men collection.
Mm-hmm. Get you in the club, baby.
Yeah,
all are welcome.
Okay, so this is helpful. Thank you.
That's your rundown, right? So your first episode was the
the
Sentinel battle.
Can I just say out loud, like the Motendo Life Death thing, bro? You guys are underrating that episode.
No, we're not.
I absolutely loved it.
No, we're not.
It was a romp. We got a quick.
No, it's actually perfect at the bottom.
Episode.
It actually belonged at the bottom.
But it's a filler. It can't compare to the rest.
Sorry, Dan.
I
Listed
found that one's polarized. I know people who love it.
Dan.
Dan, I loved it. I thought it was a great episode. You're right.
If they had put the Life Death thing into one epic episode and split those other, Life Death would have been a lot higher.
That was it. Sure. They jammed the whole Life Death into 15 minutes, and the rest was a goofy filler.
Exactly.
Took away from it.
They did do part 2, so you got an episode and a half of Life Death.
I mean, they gave us Skinny Mojo, and that's the thing of nightmares.
They kind of split it, though, right? Like Life Death Part 1 was episode 4, and then they didn't come back to it until episode 6.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would have been better if it was.
You know what? In comparison to all the other episodes, I get it. We are on a pedestal here, so.
I also didn't like how Life Death Part 2 was right after Gambit's death, and you had to wait till the funeral, like the resolve. I don't know if it was like a palate cleanser, but I felt in retrospect that was a misstep. I think we needed the catharsis of the funeral scene.
It felt really weird.
It was great. It was a strange decision.
Yeah, I kind of liked it, but it's interesting. I liked that we jumped away and then for me, it made the funeral even hit harder because I came back later and I was wanting it at that point, and then it was like, oh man, it's even more brutal than I thought.
But I couldn't stop thinking of it. I'm like, oh, this is a cool scene. Like, Storm's getting her powers back. This should be amazing.
Yeah.
But I can't stop thinking about how they're going to resolve what just happened in Genosha.
Sure.
I
get it.
It's understandable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to play a little game, a new game that I started that I came up with. It's more of a discussion starter than anything, but it's called Teasing or Trolling.
I dig it.
All right,
I'm gonna pick teasing. I'm just picking.
Well, I'm gonna present you with five moments or scenarios from this last season of X-Men 97 and I want you to tell me or discuss amongst the group whether or not you felt like this moment was a moment where they're teasing something bigger in the future, a bigger storyline, a bigger cameo, or a bigger appearance, or are they trolling us? Are they just giving us a fan service little cameo and that's it? We're never going to see this again, or we're just going to get more of this like unsatisfying stuff. Teasing or trolling?
Got you.
first slide up, we had the cameo of the Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Mary Jane from the 90s cartoon. What do you guys think? You think
what a great concept, Ryan? Did you come up with this?
I came up with it on
that's really smart, man. I really dig this. What a great idea.
This is a tease.
I think it's definitely
teasing me 100%.
Yeah, they're teasing us with the
Yeah,
success of this show and the blueprint. They're continuing this story like Peter Parker's with Mary Jane. Like they're telling us something about the Fox Spider-Man universe. So I totally think they're trolling us.
Oh yeah,
I think it's half because they're already making an animated Spider-Man show. I think now in retrospect they're going, let's remake the 90s Spider-Man show, but I don't think they intended that when this started. I think it was just a fun Easter egg, but now I think they're seriously considering it.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel, Mike. I feel like now that they're realizing the success of this, they're like, oh, now we got to do something like this. Right. Like a combined, even like an animated universe, right? Like where they're all somewhat connected, even could be something that they look to do. So
yeah, I hope it's a teaser. I'm afraid it might be a troll.
Because they're still doing freshman year, aren't they? Aren't they still planning that?
I mean, there hasn't been any news about it for a long time, but they did announce it at that Disney investor thing way back when they announced a lot of stuff that they probably prematurely shouldn't have. But
so for the record, before we move on, did everybody chime in? We're all pretty much on the tease side of this. Did anybody say?
I think
I said trolling, but I meant teasing. I think they're teasing something.
Like teasing as in like they're probably going to bring this up later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're going to get them back in a bigger way.
Yes.
In the future.
Right.
Whether that's
we're all kind of in agreement there, or does anybody?
Spider-Man 98.
I think.
Mike, you think that they're not going to do anything with this?
I think they're thinking about it now. But
I think Mike. I agree with that. I agree with Mike. I don't think that the show has the power to say we're going to do a Spider-Man show.
Right.
But I think that now Disney executives are like, holy shit, there's a lot of money over there.
Yeah,
I'm right.
I'm sure they'll do it now. They'll do Spider-Man 98 or whatever it be.
Yeah.
98.
Just like we said at the beginning, I'm setting my expectations low with this one, but man, I hope that this is just a tease.
I mean, guys, they're saying like the X-Men 97 might be up for like Emmys, and like when Disney hears that, they just like they're gonna lose their mind because they know
there are Scrooge McDucks swimming in their mind.
Yeah, the Mickey Mouse is just like counting his bands.
It's funny because I a friend of mine messaged me something they saw on Instagram where they were claiming this article is claiming that that the ratings were horrible, that the viewership numbers were low, not the scoring on Rotten Tomatoes or Fan Talk or whatever.
Interesting.
But that the scoring, which I was like, this sounds like somebody just trying to stir a pot of something, because I remember an early like Variety article that was like this was the best, like the viewership numbers were higher than anything that Disney had done since 2021. So I think there's some discrepancy going on because obviously these numbers aren't getting revealed in any sort of manner.
I'm talking to people in real life, and they're watching it.
Obviously, within our community, it's massively successful. Yeah, but my question, my curiosity is beyond that. How successful is this? Because they said that the first 2 episode premiere was one of the highest watched things they'd had in 4 years or something. But like, I'm curious.
I think a lot of not like casual viewers waited too, because like even my sister who's an X-Men fan, she didn't want to watch them every week. She waited. I think there's a lot of people. I think it's going to get a lot of coverage now over the summer. Even more viewers. So if that was a concern. I don't think it is anymore.
I saw that it didn't chart on Nielsen, which is like the big ratings thing. But I think what you got to take in consideration on that is these are half-hour episodes, not hour-long episodes. It was a weekly release, and when shows are released all at once, they get massive numbers on Nielsen, so they get beat out by so like that's why Netflix stuff gets massive numbers, because they get those binge watching, and then and it's an animation, right? Live action always kind of draws more eyes than animations
Right.
usually. So I think that all kind of plays into it. But
It felt like a biased article that just wanted to like crap on
Yeah.
somebody's the
Yeah.
thing that people
Yeah.
were excited
Well,
about.
I know it hit 4 million views in 5 days. That's
Did
that's a variety and other sources. So that's not nothing.
no, not at all. And it's
It's
been
saying
nothing
it's
but
the-
positive PR.
Online, it says it's the third most watched show on there, only after Percy Jackson and Echo, and it's the highest animated show they've ever had.
Well, that same article though I thought was ridiculous. They were claiming that Echo was this huge failure, and I was like, okay, this article just seems like
Yeah,
just wants to bitch about stuff to me.
And
Next
Well,
slide, Ryan. Next slide.
all right.
Sorry, didn't mean to derail us.
No, but Echo's also another case in point. It got released all at once, right?
Yep.
So,
there you go.
It's true.
all right. So we saw a lot of Morph, and Morph has the
We did.
ability to transform into a lot of characters and somehow have their powers.
And have their powers. Yeah.
You know, he's the Hulk, and he's got the strength of the Hulk, and he's got, you know, he turns into magic, and he's got Ileana's soul sword somehow, Psylocke and Colossus. So my question is, with Morph, are they actually teasing that he's got these powers, or are they kind of trying to troll the haters out there of Morph by giving him pretty much the best powers in all of X-Men, just to kind of like get back at the polarized hate of the character?
It's got to be that they'll explain it. And it's got to be something along the lines of you can use one of these characters' powers for 30 seconds, but it takes a lot of mental energy and you have to recoup after a little while. You know, something like that.
They should explain that, I think, because
Yeah.
otherwise,
They
why didn't he become Magneto and reverse the polarization of the
Yeah.
Right.
Because
David Mayo says that that there's a scene that they cut when they're fighting the Executioner in the second episode, and or is it the third episode? I don't know. That he morphed too many times, and like he started to melt. Right, he couldn't hold his form together.
Oh,
That's
wow.
cool.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, that would have been helpful.
That would have been cool.
Right,
My son wasn't having any of this,
Yeah,
by the way.
I feel like there are limitations, and you're right, Josh. I think that we can all explain to ourselves, like it's always like that when it comes to mutant powers or any of these OP characters in comic books. There are these limitations to their abilities. It has to be that.
It did
My
seem
son
like
was critical of Morph the whole season. Because like he can be anything. I'm like, no, there's gotta be some rules. And then we turned to Hulk. My son just like lost his mind. He's like, this is just stupid. Like, come on.
yeah, I was kind of in the same boat, but I kind of figured there's got to be a limitation that they're just not explaining. Right. And one of the 100%. Things I did, with this scene as the Hulk, is he's glowing blue like Jean Grey's powers. So I was wondering if maybe Jean was actually like propelling them up high and like basically enhancing what he could actually do as the Hulk. I don't know. It was
you have some merit to that, Ryan, because toward the end, and the X-Men represent a team working together in a way to, they use their powers combined. They are Captain Planet.
It doesn't hold
Same
water.
show,
It's
right?
Holes in it though, like
Pretty much.
He's stretchy and stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It does. It's a troll. They just mess with us.
Here's my question: are they trolling every character? Maybe if somebody can tell me and has thought about it, has Morph used the same power more than once? Like, has he morphed it on the show?
So.
Or every single time he's morphed, it's been a new character?
I think it's
I believe it's been a new character.
I think it's a troll in a way to use that as an excuse to bring in cameos.
Yeah.
Beautiful device.
It's clever.
Yeah.
Beautiful device.
As a narrative device, it's very clever.
Yeah.
But
they
again,
tease us with
Jubilee was
Colossus,
breathing
that's
with
for
these
sure.
guys, so we can't nitpick too much. Right?
For
Yeah,
sure.
We're gonna maybe get a Morph
We can-
Wolverine romance in season 2. Who knows?
Ooh.
I think there could be a little more to that. Yeah.
There's something there.
According to Marvel, Morph can pick up to 20 tons when he changes.
Holy smokes.
That's crazy.
I Interesting.
wonder if it's like a physical thing, like he can change his mass to whatever, and if the ability falls within the mass.
That's
I don't know.
that's exactly. It says he can turn in objects even, so that's how he can make magic sword. But it doesn't. The one thing I don't understand, it showed him flying, and that's not in his power set.
Who's that?
Maybe
Oh,
it's
he was just gliding, you know.
Maybe it's because
Falling with style.
maybe it's because Archangel has inanimate
Wings.
wings, and so maybe the wings themselves, as opposed to like him having natural wings. I don't know. We're diving in a little deeper than I think.
Next slide. Next slide.
All right, so this is a softball.
Jeez.
Come on.
Tease.
All right, tease. We're all feeling teased on
Absolutely.
this one.
You know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
Dude, I did not catch this in the regular show.
Really?
So you didn't stick around for the
Okay, so that happened.
Wait, didn't
to
stick
me-
around? Wait, what are you talking about?
So this
after
happened
the
to
credits.
me-
This is the after credits scene.
This is
This
at the
finale.
at the end of 10.
Yeah.
So I did the
What?
same thing, Dan.
Yeah, this is
put
the
on
only episode that has a teaser at the end of the episode.
Yeah, this is at the very end of 10.
Yo, there's a teaser at the end of the finale.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. Yo, I did watch Deadpool 2, y'all.
Dan,
That's our last
it's right
conversation.
after. It's not after the main credit, or it's right after the graphics. Like when
Yeah.
it's like a computer and they're clicking all the profile photos. As soon as that's done, they go to this shot, and it's Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Look how massive Apocalypse's hand is.
Yep.
Right?
You know, yeah,
Be as
big
big as he
hands,
wants.
baby.
So I'll let
Yeah.
Dan
Yeah,
go
good
and
point.
watch that when he's done tonight. But
No, spoilers allowed. Spoilers
All right.
allowed. I deserve this.
X-Men 180, just X-Men 185 is the new hot book, guys. Come on.
There it
I
is.
just won a copy last night on Paper Chase Comics Into the Void
Oh,
show.
word! You won that? Oh, word.
I won Cover Lover last night, so I
you
won a
deserve
copy
that
of
too.
185, which is
Word.
great because I don't have that issue. So now
when Mike had mentioned like now's the time to stack the 185s, we were in this chat and he was like, get those 185s, and I was like, what are you talking about? It's like $4 comic, and I'm looking at eBay, all $4-5 comics, and I was like, isn't now the time to sell that comic? And then 2 days later, it's like $20, $30 average.
$30. Yeah,
I was like,
all up.
egg on my
Buckle
face.
up.
I got it for free.
Yeah.
Thanks to Chris at Paper Chase for that. That was a fun round of Cover Lover. All right, next up. So when Magneto did the whole, polarizing, what's the EMP kind of thing, he awoke Omega Red.
Here's what I love about this. It's like it's trolling WandaVision. It's like all those people that were so stupid to think that Omega Red was going to show up in friggin' Falcon and the Winter Soldier or whatever. It was like they were basically able to say like, hey, we actually put him in our show.
Nice book, Eric. Dude, John, I totally agree with you as far as like
funny.
there was so much. Remember when 2021 or whatever, at the end of 2021, we're all so hyped when this character shows up in the MCU, when that character shows up in the MCU. There's too many characters, y'all. Like,
I just love when like they announced that Disney owned the X-Men characters. People were like, the next episode of Winter Soldier is going to have the next character in it. It's like, do you guys know how far out they shoot these things? Like, there's no way you're going to see a mutant in the next episode of Winter Soldier.
But the
I
scene
like
with
those
all the
that
other
take
Russian
Vietnamese-
superheroes was pretty cool, like Dark Star and Mikhail and stuff. That was
So
pretty
you saw this
That was cool.
awakening, and then he fights the Prime Sentinels. I gotta think that the fact that he woke up from this is teasing that he will be returning in some capacity in maybe season 2 or season 3. Right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
on the flip side, they tease Silver Samurai to show what's happening in Japan. And they tease Omega Red to show what's happening in Russia. It could have just been a device. This is happening all over the world.
It's true. It's true. It could.
Though I hope we get some Omega Red, and I hope we get some Silver
Oh, yeah.
Samurai.
Oh yeah, you will.
I like that
It's calling
Silver
it right now.
Samurai. Yeah, I like that.
I like to think it's a tease. I like to think
He's an easy character to sprinkle in.
Yeah.
Well,
Even
we all
just
know,
for an
Ryan,
episode
you
or
have
two.
20 copies of
One episode, half an
X-Men.
episode.
No, I don't have. I only have 2 or 3 copies of his first appearance. I have.
Oh yeah,
lot of
you're a
copies.
Sinister.
I
You're
got
on
a
the Sinister
Sinister
wagon.
I got
That's
Sinister.
right, yeah.
Right? All right. So, final teasing or trolling.
Love this. Love this.
And this is. I feel like it's a. I'm getting trolled specifically.
Which
like,
part of this?
Oh, by the way, I gotta do
Colossus.
this.
We're talking Colossus here.
Okay, let's
Colossus
focus on
all over the place. You know, are we gonna get Colossus? Is he gonna come to the team, or are they just trolling me?
Can I jump in? I don't want to. I feel like I've talked too much, and I'm going to back out after I say this.
No, Mike, please.
My last
value
one.
your opinion.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. A lot of the stuff that happened in X-Men 97, with the notable exception of Gambit dying, although we think he's coming back, I kind of knew everything was going on. I think most of us who have read the comics weren't really surprised by many of the things that happened. But I said before the season started, in one of the earliest ones of these things, I thought they were rebuilding the original teams. The problems with using the Jim Lee X-Men is they don't represent the classic X-Men. They brought some of them back. They put them in the classic costumes. I said they were building to season 2 the new teams. Now, I wasn't completely right. I made a couple, like the season finale, I thought Onslaught was coming. I thought for sure Onslaught was coming. I was worried about Nightcrawler and Bastion. But this still confirms to me what they're doing in season 2. They're building a new team. It's absolutely a tease. We're getting everyone. We're getting Iceman, Colossus, Havoc.
And by the new
Magic,
team, do you mean giant size X-Men team?
Kind of. We're just getting all the classic X-Men all together. We're gonna have 2 or 3
the original team mishmashed with the giant size X-Men team.
This is music to my ears.
Pretty much.
This is music to my ears.
I agree. I feel like they do. Somebody had asked, like, are they going to? Bruce, you had said, like, are they going to bring in Polaris? And I feel
Polaris,
and that Colossus is more likely.
I mean, they had Colossus like in a number of spots, like here, you know, like it was more than anybody else. I felt. I was just like, come on,
Ryan just really wants all of us to say tease. He just really needs it right now.
Just confirm it.
Tease.
Definitely tease.
Episode 1, season 2, you're getting Colossus.
All right.
Season 2, the Colossus show.
Please give it to me.
Maybe not Exodus and Dust. Well, maybe not Exodus. Dust I can see. But like all those characters right there, you're getting all of them.
That would be so good.
They kept them alive. I mean,
we did get Exodus was on Genosha, right? Sure. Wasn't he in?
He was.
So now he's apparently he's alive.
Yeah, he was dancing, which is very not Exodus-like. If you're gonna have Exodus, though, you have to have Rachel Summers, or I'm sorry, Hope Summers.
And since we're looking at this board, does anybody know where Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are? They're off-world. Any ideas there? Is that significant?
Ooh, good thinking. Yeah,
they're in the MCU.
Archangel is also missing, presumed dead.
Oh yeah, no, that's who said that? Josh.
It says
the MCU joke.
John.
Was me.
That's legit right there, right? And I mean, we have to give a shout out to 141. X-Men 141 right here with this panel.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And they did a tease of that poster also in Motendo episode when they first go into the video game.
One of the best episodes there are. In the whole I had a lot of fun, y'all. I had fun.
We all did.
I will say this on Angel, though. I don't remember what happened in X-Men 92, but if they're having Apocalypse, how do they not bring Archangel back?
I was thinking the same thing. There's not enough Archangel talk.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bit of Archangel talk, but gotta be mentioned.
All right. Well, thank you for playing the first ever round of.
I love that, Ryan.
Trolling.
That was great.
It was fun.
I really dig it, bro.
I totally made that just so we could talk about the Colossus. Are they trolling?
we know. We know.
What a shock.
Not confused in any way.
Yeah, some of you did call it right even before we started. So,
how can I steer this towards Colossus talk?
Well, I always got to bring a sprinkle.
He's got an angle.
He's staying on the brand.
All right. So, Before we get to comics, I just wanted to quickly ask what you guys did. Is there anything you guys wish they did or didn't do in this first season?
Nintendo.
I wish that would have been a full-on episode. Yeah, I agree.
All right.
I agree, Chris.
I mean, I wish
it would've
they'd
been a
spent more time
full-
on Life Death. I wish they'd given us more of a Storm. I wish she had been without her powers a little bit
Coulda added
longer.
an
Just
extra
give it,
episode.
yeah, just
Exactly.
giving her more of that. I would have been.
Exactly.
I
We
would've
needed
been
X
happier.
babies in that Mojo World one. I'm telling you,
There it is. There it is.
They could have done a little.
would have been a whole new. We would have had an X Babies cartoon come out next year.
Oh damn, Bruce is in the dark now with the.
Yeah, Bruce, I
gotta
think
get
I saw
going.
Sinister right over your shoulder, dude.
He's like,
He thrives in the
Wolverine
dark.
comes
Yeah,
first in
just
this
red
family.
eyes, just
You
like-
aren't sleeping until the Council of X is over.
Yeah, I gotta get going soon because I got a 2-year-old. So
No worries, Bruce.
I'm
Understandable,
just gonna chime in before I go real quick. I love season 1. There's nothing I would change about it. I thought it's pretty much flawless in my opinion, except
Right
for not having Colossus.
Word. Oh,
And
there you go.
Motendo,
Look at-
right? And Motendo.
Bruce just
Nintendo sucks.
climbed his way back up to the top of the hierarchy right here with the Magneto talk and the
He's
Colossus.
gaining points.
Well,
It's-
it's true.
He knows the way to my heart. So
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
appreciate you, Bruce.
All right, guys.
We love
Have a
you,
good
Bruce.
night.
Bye,
Thanks for the
Bruce.
support, bro.
Bye.
Bruce.
Thank you, guys.
See you,
See ya.
bud.
Take care, my man.
Bye.
So, any other items wish they had, wish they didn't do?
I'm gonna just say, like, who am I to say what could have been better in this time? I mean, like I appreciate what you all have to say, but for me, like, yeah, there's some things that I would have done differently, but like, would it have been better?
So tiny little nitpick bitching stuff, out of what we got. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I really want to know if, and I don't want to completely change the subject, but I really want to know what we think about Wolverine getting kind of put to a supporting,
Yeah.
Now,
instead
I'm
of,
glad you brought it up and not me.
No, yeah. I hear you.
And I'm surprised Josh didn't bring it up either. I felt like he was on the sidelines. And I don't know if
He
that's in
definitely
response
was.
because there's so many people that do not like him. They think he's just very
Overrated.
vanilla, that he's not a deep character. So they're like tired of seeing him.
Mike's
I
in
think
the
it's
boat.
more of a-
Mike's raising his hand a little
It
bit.
felt like a
wobble.
response to the Fox movies too, where he was given the shining front spot
Too
in every
forward.
single film, and I
He's
think they
had a
felt
lot
like,
of
no, let's
time.
remind people that he's part of a team.
Yes.
And he
Yeah,
always
modern
was like
comics,
that in the
that matter.
original show too. The original show, there was a lot of Wolverine. Right?
There was.
Agreed. Eric, to redeem him.
I think he's
or-
exactly where he was in
Okay.
the Claremont Burn run. He was just another X-Man.
I agree.
And that's what he should be. Yes, he got a little less of a spotlight, but it's because the other characters were more compelling. Season 2, you're going to have animalistic Wolverine. He's going to be he's going to have a lot more storylines. But I thought he was exactly how he's
Other characters are more compelling. My heart. Oh.
20 years. Yeah.
Okay, nobody else
Go
watched
ahead. No. Please,
the
please.
video,
Chime in.
though. But they made a statement before it even got released that Disney themselves asked them not to focus on people who were going to be in movies this year. So that's the reason why Wolverine was pulled back. That's the reason why Colossus don't appear. They said they didn't want that all up there, but that's the reason why. It's literally they said that they didn't want to be over and saturating certain characters, so they can't get rid of Wolverine, obviously, but they pulled him back. They didn't have Colossus in there.
Yeah,
and there's other things, but that's what they said. And since it happened, I feel like that's the truth, and that's why I think next season we're going to see a lot more people put back in. Wolverine will become more of the front runner, unless of course they're gonna have another Wolverine movie coming out sometime. But
because I think at the end of the season we don't know where Wolverine and
we don't.
Storm. We don't know where Wolverine and Storm, and I think someone else. Morph.
Yeah, we don't know.
So
Right.
Morph was with Wolverine on the ship, right? Because he had that moment where he turns into Jean to try and comfort and like give Wolverine some reason to hold on, type of thing, right?
I hope they bring us the Madripoor. with Morph and Wolverine, and we get that storyline, and we get the Silver Samurai, and
maybe that's
I
part
love
of
that,
what they're
Josh.
going to do next year or next season is they'll have like little like micro teams,
which they've done in the original show run,
or at least
Yeah.
a few episodes, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do there. All right, let's look at some books. So I asked everybody to bring 4 books that you felt were inspiration to this first season of X-Men 97, and then 1 book that you'd like to see inspire or adapt to some episodes or storylines in the next season or the seasons to come.
4, Eric. 4.
So
I'll go last because I missed that memo.
Yeah, we were gonna go kind of elimination style, but Dan kind of swapped.
I kind of did too a little bit.
So maybe we'll just show our books and
cheated. I'll admit it. I cheated.
We'll play the game next time.
Can't take this guy anywhere.
Too many books. Not enough time. All right. So does anybody want to jump in? Start first.
Are we doing one, or we're gonna show?
Let's just do the 4 books that
influenced,
and then we'll.
I'll go first. I'll volunteer it
as tribute.
Okay. First off, I'm gonna start with the easy one.
Ooh, nice pick.
Nice.
Gotta have it.
Nice grade.
Yeah.
So you had to, obviously Apocalypse.
And for anybody in the chat, that's the first Apocalypse.
Yes.
Yeah, when I was a kid, like he was the top dog.
Yeah, he was something else, and like I still remember I wish I should have brought that comic out, but
He still is. Don't shame him.
Cyclops turned him into dust. That was a
nice,
remarkable thing. But here's my next book.
Ah, you got one of mine.
Yeah, that was directly referenced to the backstory to Rogue and Magneto's relationship.
What happens in the Savage Land stays in the Savage Land.
That's right.
Is it savage?
Very.
That's why.
You see those outfits?
And then we have.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, this tells you the story about Gambit. They refer to all the bad things he's done in his past.
It's a lot.
That's where they tell a bit of the backstory of his involvement with the Mutant Massacre, right?
That's exactly right. He's the reason why Angel lost his wings, and he helped guide Sabretooth and all them down to kill the Morlocks.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that, Troy. It's not that book doesn't get talked about enough.
No, it's not. It's a great book, and it's it's even a return to Magneto.
Yeah,
so, they got a great foil version.
Yes,
of that as well.
they do.
I do have foil. This is my reader copy.
Yeah, 90s goodness right there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's 3, and my 4th book.
Yep. Great
If
one.
everybody don't know, this is the tale of Cyclops and Phoenix going into the future to raise.
Look at those
baby Nathan
definition and those pectorals.
I was gonna say Jean's got some serious lats going. Look at the side. She's working those side muscles.
If you've read this story, it's not actually their bodies. They just get their minds pulled by Rachel Summers.
Yeah, so Rachel.
These are all. This all just considers one book because it's just the thing, and then this is required reading if you want to read those. This tells you all like the backstory of everybody and everything.
Look at Eric keeping him.
Troy, I'm going through my pile
now. It's not
now.
a competition, Eric. It's not a competition.
Well, I have almost every X-Men comic that they've made, so I could
There it is.
go one-on-one with when it comes to X-Men.
Evidently, so does Eric.
Yeah.
Ready for it.
We're both just gonna show up with piles.
Yeah,
next
it
time.
is a contest now.
Watch, and we're gonna. There's my 4.
Who's up next?
No, he's got one more. No, that was his 4. Okay.
We're gonna come back.
I'll piggyback on that. This is like potential storyline as well, where they go into the past, kind of connecting.
Damn it! Come on, man.
Sinister
Guys are
and
thinning my pile.
Apocalypse and that whole run. So
When
I
you
think
bring
it's,
all
it's
the
really
books,
interesting
Eric,
that their physical bodies are in the future and that
Yeah.
they're seeing their son and how that's playing out. It's a nice little twist on it.
Good pick,
Of
sir.
course, I showed this earlier.
Yep.
My boy here.
Watching you, Eric.
Yeah. For me, it was X-Force. That was my introduction to this guy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And I just love, the rising Phoenix. We got the
big
Phoenix Force in the last episode as kind of the catch-all.
A little
Like,
homage.
one of the best action-packed setup episodes.
Yeah.
Only thing we
for
didn't
season
get was
finale.
we
Just
didn't get
episode 10.
Cyclops drinking all the salt water.
I was gonna say he's drowning. His drowning mouth. So good.
So thirsty.
Yeah.
Oh.
So good.
And Rise of Apocalypse, we were teased on Sabanur.
Great pick.
Yeah.
And it's funny, this was I grabbed this easily. It was sitting in my to read pile, like the
Nice.
4 issues. So I was already gonna read it, and here we are. Like, what an incredible tease.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
And are they bringing us with this tease in the episode? You saw that dome-like structure where it should be the pyramids.
Yeah.
Is that what's his name from the MCU?
Rama Tut.
Raman Tut.
Yeah, Kang. the Conqueror.
Kang. So are we going to have a Kang arc instead of the Fantastic Four? Is it the X-Men and Apocalypse?
Alex is in the chat, dude. That was a great clip we ran earlier in the
Alex,
show, dude.
thank
killed
you,
it.
man. That was
Thank
so
you for the
good.
read.
Amazing.
We all enjoyed it. Also got Reverend Wormwood. Good to see you, my friend.
Since I'm still on the screen, I'll just show this book. I love that they gave us this costume.
Yep.
And during this run of X-Men, she's actually the leader of the X-Men.
Nice. All right.
And that's Elvis right there.
That's Elvis right there.
Oh. Is it Velvet?
It's Velvet, baby.
Sorry, John.
All right. Well, since 274 went, that was amazing. I'm gonna go with the baby Cable birth.
Oh yeah.
Gotta have it. It's one of my favorite comics ever. But yeah, the little birth of baby Cable, had to have it. Here's one that I don't know if anybody else picked. This is 161. The finale with
Good choice.
inside Magneto's brain with Xavier trying to get through to him and thinking back to their past together and early meetings, and they're in that bar. It like totally took me back to this throwback issue or flashback issue where you get to see how they, early days when they met each other. And so I totally thought of this bromance comic.
Started the bromance, yep.
Yeah, right.
Von Strucker, right?
Strucker right there. I wanted to comment on how a ton of the media focus when the show was launching was like all about how Morph's going to be non-binary. I just want people to think back to the stupid media coverage that amounted to nothing in that show. Nothing. But everybody wanted to like drop a video on YouTube or a TikTok all about, oh man, they're making Morph non-binary. It was nothing in that show. It was absolutely nothing. It was not even anything. But this is the real bromance. They just needed like a push to kissing. They were one step away.
Man, there was no women inside that bar. Just saying, not one woman.
There's darkness inside me. There's darkness inside me too, Magnus.
Get it out.
And then I grabbed 188. So for those that don't know, there's the adversary, the first full appearance of that creature that was so important in the journey that Storm went on in these issues. So underappreciated book, and really, I thought they really animated that character well. The visuals around that character really came out phenomenal.
I mean, not comic accurate, but very cool.
Yeah,
and like captured that
creepy. They got that
creepiness.
Yeah. Gave me some great creepy vibes for sure. So
there is moments. There is moments like where in the comics where Storm has to fight like creatures. Like there's like this owl snake mash up. I felt like that also really kind
For
of
sure.
inspired the design of that character.
Yeah. So those are my 3 plus the 1 from earlier. So there's
Right.
technically 4. I don't want to jump on anybody else's.
No worries, no worries.
Dude, Alex, we loved you, Alex, in your reading today. So thank you for that. Oh, okay. So it's my turn. I just got
Just
back.
show us.
My mom just showed up.
Hi,
And
Mom.
She just broke up with her boyfriend.
Oh.
So we have huge. It's gonna get crazy in here.
I'm gonna go home. I think I'm just gonna try.
Please,
Okay.
please sit down. Okay. All right. Comic time. Okay. Y'all remember the last time?
So I know, Dan, you said that you went the opposite way. So just show us the ones that were inspiration to this first season, and then we'll
Okay.
come back to the other ones
Okay.
in the next round.
Little zigging here. Remember the last episode? The government was checking out Magneto and his stats. Do you remember that? Y'all remember they had the little piece?
Yeah,
of
yeah, definitely.
They had a dossier. They had a
speed and his-
dossier.
Oh, so I'm busting that card out there. All right.
Nice.
Here's another one. X-Men.
The deep pull.
Just generally coming together. I busted this one out like the other week or whatever. But here we have the like Portuguese version, right?
Ooh.
And X-Men standing together, you know, the odds are against them, unsurmountable odds, and here they are, you know, giving every last effort to complete the mission, working together. All right.
Very cool.
For some yum yum.
And then all I got is yeah, and then all I got left is that's
The
it.
other ones?
That's it.
All right.
The other ones are the ones that I want to see in the future.
Awesome.
All right.
No.
I'll go. So, first up, I've got X-Men Annual 17.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
First
There goes that one.
appearance of
Still bagged.
still polybagged
There it is.
of the Executioner, who, of course, we saw in the second episode.
Yep.
And sort of a little bit teased in the first episode.
Good pick.
Then we've got X-Men 10.
Oh,
Mojo.
An inspiration to Chris's favorite episode.
yeah, no, it's Chris. He got up and left. He knew
And
what
of
was
course,
coming.
they did kind of use this in the original series, but a lot of what they, did there and did in this comic was definitely brought into the Motendo episode. There's actually a couple panels with Dazzler in this one that really kind of reminded me of some of the Jubilee colors and the design of her in that Motendo episode. So thought I'd grab that one. I'm glad it doesn't seem like a lot of us grabbed the same ones. I really thought somebody would have grabbed the adamantium fatal
We got time. Eric has a huge pile. Oh, there it is.
But this one is actually 304 before the adamantium is pulled, and this one actually it has a lot of this gave a lot of inspiration to the moment when Magneto comes down and tries to pull some of the X-Men to his cause, and of course Rogue and Sunspot join him, and my guy Colossus is actually in this episode.
Then it has nothing to do with the show. I don't know.
He's the guy in this book that kind of goes to Magneto's side, sides with them. Anyways, I thought this was maybe a little bit more one that you guys wouldn't have thought of outside of the other ones where the adamantium gets
Very cool.
distracted.
So the Metal Man went with got Master of Magnetism.
He did. And so then I got two. I've got Uncanny X-Men 262. The reason why I grabbed this one is at the end when Forge is thinking about and looking for where the X-Men have disappeared going into the new season. It seems like they're kind of taking a little bit of a page out of the the Forge Banshee team up, where they become kind of partners in crime to try and find the X-Men in the Uncanny storyline. So I thought that was maybe a little bit of inspiration came from this sort of era, this storyline with Forge and Banshee.
There's some big issues that haven't come up yet. I'm hopeful that we still got a few people left that are going to crush this.
That's my 4. I tried to go a little more obscure.
I love it.
Who hasn't gone yet? Oh,
Chris and Eric.
I told Eric he could go last because he's
I'll go last.
So many books.
I think Mike needs to go.
Yeah, I gotta go. Okay, well, so because I was in a rush here, I could not find the issue I wanted. So this one instead,
yes,
114, versus Sandra Nova. In the next issue, she destroys Genosha. Yes. So obviously, it's great. I could find 115. It's somewhere back there. I don't have time to dig it out.
I almost picked that. Great pick.
There you go. So just use your imagination. But obviously, this is a direct lead into that huge event. And honestly, yeah, I actually, when they introduced Genosha, I knew where they were going, but I did not expect that to start anywhere in the season at the beginning. So that was kind of a fun little surprise.
And it's called E for Extinction, which they used the term extinction there in the final. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah,
makes sense. Then our last episode, our Pages of X was that moment too. So yeah, it was a great pull.
Right. This is sort of a 2-in-1. I missed all of Troy, so hopefully I didn't show this. Uncanny 333, First Bastion.
Yep.
You just grabbed that one, right, Mike? I saw that on your.
I have a whole bunch. I actually have several of them. Yeah, I have a couple. First cameo Bastion, X-Men number 52. But what I love about this one, why it's so pertinent, is that in this one you see like the zero tolerance guys. When you first see Bastion, he's in silhouette, and they're like, "Oh, don't mess with him. He's on our side." And it was like a direct call out to the early episodes where you have all those guys, going against the mutants and the Executioner, but there's clearly a big bad behind the scenes. This sort of implied here. Pretty cool.
Nice.
And no one showed this. Really, no one showed this, right?
Amazing. Yeah.
I knew someone would have it. That's why I didn't bring
this. Well, I'll let someone else show it. But here's the thing. So, of course, everyone knows what this book is. Animated comes out. Also, Asteroid M was created, and it was actually shown kind of in the animated series, the video games, and this is where you really got it profiled, and you get the direct things. But what I want to show you guys actually isn't a comic book. So that Fatal Attraction storyline, pretty darn cool. I think I sent you guys a picture of this.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
What is that?
So this is all of the holograms from the Fatal Attraction set.
So cool.
Signed by Adam Kubert and Harry Candelario.
Man.
Hard to find. I did that What Not Show with my friends Josh and Larry. And Josh found this, and this was like a gift to me for helping.
How do I not have that? Holy crap!
It's hard to find. It's expensive. They're limited. There's only 1,500 of them made.
Damn it, Mike! You're gonna cost me a lot of money, aren't you?
Oh, I know. So where's some of you looking for this thing? It is hard to find. It's still in the plastic, but isn't that dope?
That's amazing.
It runs like $250-$300.
That's phenomenal.
Wow.
Mike, you just won YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh, however, Sasquatch, I know you wanted this, didn't you?
Because when he told me it was going to you, I was like, all right.
Yeah, he put it aside for me. I felt wicked bad after he told me that. He's like, Sasquatch really wants it. I was like, oh, I don't feel bad at all. Give it to me.
Nope, don't. Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
Own it.
I'm glad you own it, Mike.
Wait, did Chris get to go?
Chris, you gotta go.
Oh, Chris can go. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Let's give Chris.
SideQuest gotta go last. He's surrounded like
Raiders of the Lost down my pile, which is a good thing.
I know, me too. I lost a lot, so I had to go to the box. But one I thought was cool because hey, Dave's here. Is I brought X-Men 14.
Nice.
Good choice.
First Sentinels. I thought that the Sentinels were going to be kind of just the first episode, or the second episode, and to kind of have that stretch throughout the whole series was, I thought, really awesome. And this is one of my prized possessions.
I like Sentinel jazz hands.
Yeah, get those nice fat Kirby fingers, So I thought it was cool how much they use them. Another one too, I wasn't really sure, and I was like, no, this kind of represents that moment in episode 9 with the costume change, and I was like, "Oh, cool! They're doing their 70s costume."
Yeah.
You know, with like I was like when Storm got her costume, I was like, "Oh, cool!" And then it was like Cyclops and Wolverine's putting on the brown and tan, and you know, it was just so awesome. So I was like, this kind of represents that key moment in the show when it's clearly going to be different from here on out. You know, the costume chain is representative of it kind of changing the tide there. So brought that. You know, my favorite when I was a kid, I loved Mr. Sinister. I have one younger sister, and I would pretend to be Mr. Sinister and scare the hell out of her. So it's kind of a threefold, but you know, we got the first Sinister there, but also
Chris with the mega flexes over here
with the well, thank you, Dan. But the much better cover for Sinister is his first cover with
Chris.
Sorry, Eric, with the Goblin Queen, who's a babe. So you got to represent the Goblin Queen, you know.
Eric, don't you dare steal his thunder.
And then I think what I have left that nobody showed is, you know, just to represent Magnus is the best Magneto cover ever and my favorite book ever.
How many copies you got?
Right now I have 50, but but it's dwindling. It's dwindling.
Oh, hey, that's good. That's a good.
That was the haul.
They're
That was the
selling.
haul.
I'm not happy about it. So this is for Magnus.
Wow.
Word.
All right, Eric, there's a lot of mega books connected to this series that we haven't done. So I'm hopeful.
Well,
you're good.
I weeded out about that.
There you go. There you go.
So I guess I'll jump with the obvious one, first one. I'm surprised, John, you didn't put this one up. But out of the two, this is my favorite cover. I love this cover.
Yeah.
Little Barry.
I brought a
baby.
hardcover for there's a 2-issue hardcover that has the Barry Windsor stuff.
Yeah, I remember the first time you showed that. I'm like, oh, I have to find that.
Don't you say a word, Ryan. Don't you say a word.
Not saying
thank you.
nothing. Not saying nothing.
It felt like a pick that I knew someone would go with, so I'm glad that somebody did. Thank you.
And then I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to go with my girl.
There you go.
Great
The
cover.
most misunderstood female character in the X universe. She just wants to hold Nate there, you know? So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think X Factor was the first real
Mother of the Year. Mother of the Year right there.
Yeah. And then since we did throw this up, it's not a first appearance, but it is beginning of the Zero Tolerance storyline. So I thought this was a cool cover with him on the cover.
Kirby fist almost right up there.
Yeah, it's very Kirby-esque.
Love it.
And then, of course, I gotta represent the Star-Crossed Lovers.
Beautiful.
So I love this cover. It's one of my favorites.
The best. I think easily the
Sad
best.
now.
Gambit.
And then,
For sure.
this is what I wished happened, but it didn't. So, yeah, Gambit versus Magneto, kind of going their relationship with Logan Mags there.
The other half of that 274 story kind of idea.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
that's
Very
for
cool.
my references.
Nobody played the Trial of Magneto. I was
We
kinda
all
stunned.
we all played.
I
chicken
figure
and
somebody would
Spurs.
actually. So I didn't
Everybody
even pull
did
it.
anybody bring it to
I
the
bet
table?
everybody
Okay,
can
look,
hold it
how
up
many
right
of them
now.
brought to the table, right?
Oh, you did. Yeah.
All right. So now we switch gears to one comic each, or maybe a few more for Dan.
Thanks.
Of a comic that we'd like to see become an inspiration or adapted to X-Men 97 in season 2 or season 3 coming up. So, who would like to jump in?
Not everyone
I'll
all at
jump
once.
I'll do it. I'll jump in. I'll go first. All right. So, John, you had mentioned or you showed the first appearance of the adversary.
Yeah.
And I was going to show this book as an inspiration, but the more I was thinking about it, it's actually the Fall of the Mutant storyline is what I would like to see adapted to X-Men 97 in a future season. They've set it up. Obviously, the adversary was different than what we got in the comics. This was more, the adversary Naze. He was more of a human form character, but of course he's kind of the force behind the Fall of the Mutant storyline. So, would love to see the mutants or the X-Men go through that storyline. And
can you remind me, Ryan, what is 225? Is that the start of the Fall of the Mutants one? Like, because you showed that
it's
first.
The start of it in the Uncanny Run. I don't know if it started officially with this one, because it crosses over right into X Factor and stuff. So I'm not sure where the actual Fall of the Mutants run starts officially, but this is the first official one in Uncanny.
Yes. Yeah.
So just to show the covers off.
Take that. Oh, and
then of course, this is where Storm gets her powers back for real. In this one.
Yes, dig it.
All right.
Yeah, Dave says Barry Windsor Smith animation. How about that? Like, you know what I mean? Weapon X. I mean, Barry Windsor Smith.
I'll go next. Sorry. I'll go next because still 35 Cent is where I'm at. Like I know they've done a little bit with the Morlocks. They've done a little bit of stuff through the original run of the animated series, but I want a full deep dive into people trying to slaughter mutants that are hiding out under the streets of New York. I want the X-Men trying to run to the rescue. I want crazy cameos of like, what is Thor doing in the streets? And let's just throw him in there. Why not? I want every single comic to show Sabretooth getting his butt kicked. I want all of it. Like, that was my favorite part. Having reread it as an adult, my favorite part of that storyline is how every single comic shows Sabretooth getting his butt. He got his butt kicked by Daredevil. He gets his butt kicked by Wolverine. Everybody beats up Sabretooth at some point. Even Power Pack is like, we can take on Sabretooth. Sure, let's take on Sabretooth.
Even Power Pack.
That's funny.
It's hilarious. If you watch it again, watch how like Sabretooth is a punching bag for like so many characters.
The problem with I was thinking the Mutant Massacre too, but I was thinking like, can they do it now? Because they kind of killed off the Morlocks in Genosha.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot of stuff that happens like after the fact, like Angel's Wings and stuff like that. So they'd really have to change it. And then
I mean, it would have to be all altered. What if Gambit's the one that comes back? What if there's other ways to manipulate it? I think, but in general, the concept I think would be a lot of fun.
Just give me Colossus snapping Riptide's neck. I want that.
Yeah,
for
sure.
That. I know it's a little morbid, but
no, it's fantastic. It's a great
first kill ever.
But you also can't have the depowered Storm like punching out people. You can't
we've done that already, right? Yeah.
Right.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. One of the predictions I absolutely got wrong. I think they strongly hinted at it, though. We have X-Men number 53, first appearance of, and the next logical bad guy after Bastion sequentially.
Yeah. Seems plausible.
I love that Earthworm Jim spread.
Yes. On the Onslaught. So if they're going up against Apocalypse, that's going to be a tough fight. You saw there was sort of a merger between Professor X and Magneto. I wouldn't be surprised if we get an Onslaught at some point in time. The cool thing about Onslaught is, in the comics, it took the pretty much entire Marvel universe to fight him. And we saw a lot of those characters that could take, a cameo form that could come back. So it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to say, hey, we got Iron Man and Cap and the Avengers and Spidey and Daredevil and all those guys. So that's what I'm holding out for. I'm hoping we get a little Onslaught because that was a pretty cool storyline when I was a kid. And again, it's the first.
Maybe they make like maybe it's not an X-Men 97 season. It's like it's a special event season,
Right.
You know, and then they do an onslaught animated season with all the Avengers and all the characters. So would be cool.
Yep. The Earthworm Jim.
Thank you for the Earthworm Jim. Yeah.
Who's up? All right, I'm picking.
Yeah.
Troy.
I got you too. Yeah, Troy.
Okay.
Random.
So I actually have not like storylines, but places and people I want to see. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything counts.
No holds barred.
No rules.
I had some just mentions that I didn't get to show that I wanted to talk about, but one, I think like this Seek and Find that totally influenced that last episode. They're trying to find everybody.
Look at that oversized issue.
But I had to talk about this.
Oh, you're just holding it up close. Okay. I thought you had like a giant sized issue.
No,
yeah. All right. I'm sure.
What is Rogue doing there? I got to know. Like, she looks like she's posing.
She's got her hair back.
Yeah, like making like a sexy pose, and she's about to get squished. But anyways, well, my two things. I want the Savage Land.
Yeah,
I want it.
I want Storm in the Savage Land.
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
We did get a Sauron, didn't we? We got a Sauron more for the end there.
Action. Give me that.
And as a villain, I want to see this guy. You don't know who that is?
Pharaoh.
The Pharaoh, who became the living monolith, who became the world, who became Juggernaut most recently. So he's been on a lot, and he is a disciple of Apocalypse, which a lot of people don't know about.
Oh, that's cool.
But he's got you got a chance to read about him. Ahmet Abdul, I think is his name. Look it up.
Silver Age character.
Guy.
The living monolith is at least. Yeah.
Right. X-Men 52 or 50.
I'm not gonna say he's powerful, but if you remember what they did to Hulk, how they just kind of shot him out to space because they didn't know how to deal with it. Thor yeets this guy out into space because they don't know how to deal with him. So
are you thinking that they're gonna that whole Egypt scene in the past, that it's gonna be the monolith?
I think he's gonna, because I feel like they're gonna try to make the Apocalypse not be the bad guy initially. So they need a bad guy who fits in that thing. And even though he's from the future, I feel like they could use him.
It's an alternative to Kang and Rama-Tut. So
right. Did they go Kang or did they go monolith?
Depends on how if they want to bring Kang back into the discussion, right? Like they kind of like put him off to the side now, and we'll see.
I feel like the Pharaoh's a safer route.
I love
and it's
all
a good
those.
choice. You can bring in Havoc that way too.
Yeah.
He has connections to Havoc, so that would actually be
he uses his cosmic powers, and he learned how to use Havoc to power himself. So
right there you go.
He definitely would fit in better, I feel. But there's my two things I want to happen. I want the monolith and the Savage.
Oh, Josh,
you've been nominated.
Baby. Bring us that.
I like the surprise with whoever it is. So, I mean, I think what I'm most looking forward to is the Onslaught storyline as well, and just the potential you can do with that. But that's not what I'm picking. I want to see. I want to see Madripoor. I want to see Patch. I want to see a whole different storyline. I want to see Bone Claws Wolverine in Madripoor as Patch. I don't know why my mind went there, but like I think it was I saw the Silver Samurai, and I was like, all right, I want to see Madripoor. So I don't know. We didn't get the Bone Claws, and I didn't even really care. It didn't seem like it was such a big deal that we didn't see that storyline. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see where they go with that character. I'm really excited to see what happens with Apocalypse and that run, and to continue Cable's story as a Scani-san. Let's go.
Right on.
We got comics explained in our chat, guys.
Yo, I thought that Josh's idea was dope as hell.
If somebody knows what's coming, it's Comics Explained.
It is him.
Hell yeah.
I watched his video actually
Dude.
just yesterday or the other day about what's coming, and it was quite good.
Mm-hmm.
No
all
kidding.
right.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Yo, Josh is. I love those picks, bro.
What's left? What's left? Yikes.
How many did we take away from you?
I think I'm gonna go Chode.
Chode.
I'm going Chode.
I could
I
go
want
for
to see a big
Starjammers,
Chode
man.
in season 2. What do you think of that?
That would be great because then you could get Cable and Scott and Corsair, all big
I
family.
think Corsair would fit, and I liked what I thought that I don't know what episode that was. Was that Life Death 2 or
That
when Xavier
was
Yeah, Life Death 2.
Is that right? I thought
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we're going towards space. Cool.
and we haven't talked about that episode at all. Man, they did Gladiator real good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was kick ass.
Yeah, give me some more
Accurate
Gladiator.
So I'm saying Chode in space, season 2.
His name's probably really Chad.
Oh, Chad. What did I say?
It's not Chod like
I said
Todd.
Chad. I said Chad.
It could be like Chod, like Todd.
Todd.
Yeah, it could be Chad.
Like Todd. Oh my God, Todd.
All right.
Dude,
Dan,
y'all
you have
said no. Well, not anymore. I mean, y'all said so many great things.
Oh,
We have you guys. We have so much material to work with. We could go forever. Like we could redo all of this amazing stuff that we're all showing together. I mean, how about the Brood, right? Alien story,
They
X-Men.
kind of did the Brood in the original, but it was a
blip.
It was the worst.
Okay,
It was
yeah,
the worst.
you know what? Great point, because there was a few that I ended up putting away because they had already touched it. Like for example, the Morlocks, right? With they already touched it in the earlier seasons. But it's my story, it's my choices, right?
No, they could totally do the Brood because they kind of did the Brood in the original animation, but it was like not the Brood, and it was really like it was really dulled down so the kids could watch it. Like it was not Brood, like crazy transformations and vicious like insect-looking aliens. Like they could definitely do the Brood to justice now on Disney Plus.
Something that I love about the X-Men 97 show is that they are able to capture our nostalgia of the cartoon with the tone of the comics as we have read them and as we remember them in our minds. All right, here's my
And
flex.
if they do the Brood, that's a great segue to bring in Chode.
Yes,
So,
no,
you know.
you gotta. I mean, if you have a chance to grab a hold of Chode and just bring it right over to you, I say every time.
Handful of Chode there.
Yeah. Okay, you guys. I love the one-off episodes. It's a romp. It's a fun. It's an instant. Let's just watch 15 minutes, 20 minutes of this thing. It's going to be a great time, and then it's over. Fun time. Murder World, baby. Let's just bring it on. I love the way that each character gets to use their powers and work together. It's just a quick way to show like these are their vulnerabilities and they're being tested and they help each other out or some way break through. They have to work all by themselves with their powers and we work against their weaknesses to overcome these moments. And it's a reminder and a reflection of ourselves, of how sometimes we feel like we're on our own and we have to use what we have to get through it, to break through the barriers, to get to the ones that we love, to help us out in the rest of our lives.
They could even do like if they develop Nightcrawler's character a little bit more, they could do that solo story where he saves the princess of like some Eastern European country from Murder World, and that was just a one Nightcrawler story. They could totally do that with X-Men 97.
Great call. The Nightcrawler could have his own show.
Just like Wolverine had his like his northern, like, North Pole escapade episode with Sabretooth, Nightcrawler could have his Murder World episode, you know.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, the other ones I chose were like ones that I, Sauron and the Savage Land.
Dan, we haven't given you enough credit for that Jen Bartel Storm shirt. I'm just telling you, this is not enough credit for that.
Hey, thank you. Yeah,
that was
there you
a
have it.
phenomenal cover and beautiful shirt.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I don't own the comic, but I know Mike does. Right? That was the first time I knew it. Yeah,
I'll send it to you, Dan. It's yours.
Well, I'll see you in August, and we'll see what. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna trade.
I mean, there's other characters I just want to see, and because I just got this and I want to show it off. First Psylocke. Let's see that. Let's see. Well, I mean, American Psylocke, but let's bring on the.
Can we iron out her backstory so that it's not so confusing?
Yeah. No, but honestly, I that was all just like me flexing. But I just love the one-time episodes. I know we were talking earlier about hating on the Mojo verse Storm episode, like the one-shot kind of things, but those are so fun to me. And I guess because I think one of the reasons why I like these one-shot episodes specifically as opposed to comics is comics with the ongoing series, it's going to be there. You have a good writer to lay out a really long storyline for you. When it comes to TV these days, I'm worried that we're not going to be given that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I just like a good, fun episode to sit down and watch. And then and that's all. You can wrap it all up real quick. I dig it. So thank you. And
Dan, it's going to the Terrificon pile. I have a pile of Terrificon goodies to hand out. So
nice.
Oh man, I'll bring an extra bag.
Know about, you let me know. I'll add stuff to the box.
You're too kind, Mike.
And finally, we've got Eric with a few book comics.
I weeded it down.
Okay, good.
All right, so I think the first one's pretty obvious that they're going to go this way, but it's Gambit as the Horseman of Death. That was a cool group that they did. I think Sunfire was Famine, and I don't remember the rest of the Horsemen off the top of my head, but this was a cool time where he was just, it was one of those when he was a villain, he was really just evil to Rogue, because she's so broken up, the fact that he's this bad guy now, and he's just kind of like digging it in. So I thought that
there
was
is a glimmer, right? Like in that comic, he does remember a bit, and so there's a path back to getting Gambit.
Yeah,
Remy LeBeau, we know, right?
And then we got a little bit of a tease. I hope we do see this, a new team. Maybe that's a way that we will get Colossus, Kitty Pryde, Polaris, Banshee.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
As team members. I mean, these were like those kind of less than known at this time characters. Yeah. So it was cool to see them in this team aspect.
That was a ragtag team they put together to defend Muir Island.
Yeah.
It was a fun issue.
I could use a little more forward.
Really want to see Rachel. I mean, I love her background and power set, how she's one of one. There's no other Rachel Grays, Rachel Summers in the multiverse. She's kind of tapped into it. I think that's a cool concept. So, I mean, we got a little bit of a hint of it. So hopefully.
Was that actually her, though? It could have been, right?
I think they refer to her as Mother Exani in the comics.
Yeah, it could have actually been.
They do indeed.
But some of the ones I really want to see, and this is kind of, I think, maybe a little bit of a long shot. I want to see Hope. I think Hope's character was interesting when she first came out, and then she kind of got put on the back burner a little bit. I liked her relationship with Cable, the fatherly role, but he basically raised a killing machine, which is kind of interesting. And going along with Hope, I want to see the Phoenix Five. She turned down the Phoenix powers, and it ended up being split between these guys. So very interesting idea of they weren't as powerful as Jean was when she had the full power, but it was a definitely different way of looking at Cyclops during that period.
I admire how much you read there, Eric, because I have not read any of those, and yeah, you just took me away, bro.
Yeah, these are interesting reads. I this one, and it's John Romita Jr. too. So a lot of people don't really get his full scope of his work. They just think of certain periods, and this was one of those periods that's like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Awesome
grabs, awesome pulls. So we've gone pretty late. I want to just before we wrap up, thank everybody for watching and hanging out in the chat all night. Thank all of you guys for
so
another
much fun hanging out with you guys.
show. Absolutely have tons of fun talking with you guys. So now that X-Men 97's done, now we're gonna have to go back to talking about mostly just comics again. So I'm sure we'll find some more.
We're gonna run out of stuff to talk about. I'm sure.
For more
Ryan,
topics.
we can talk about the NHL together. Oh no, wait, we can't.
Yeah, condolences to Mike and Bruce.
Mike, yeah.
But of
Bruce,
course, they were the cause of my
Is it done?
What?
I'm not sure. Is hockey done?
Sorry. Stanley Cup favorites, perhaps.
Dallas Stars. Yep, they're still going. So yeah, thanks guys so much. And before we go, just want to give you guys each a quick chance to, if you have anything coming up on your channels, plug it, please. We'll start with Eric. What's going on at SideQuest?
I have some comic book day videos coming out. I'm planning on going to some comic shows, so those will end up on the channel soon. And I actually have some other episodes that I'm planning on doing that are like series runs, or I actually just got a big collection that was my brother's, who is no longer with us, that my parents thought was mine, but I don't know if I have the heart to tell them that no, that was Logan's. So that's kind of I've already been trying to record it because it's kind of an emotional one, but there should be interesting videos coming out.
We love you, and sorry to hear that, Eric.
Well, it's been a while, but I think it's more of a sore spot for them. So, but
we love your content, so we'll be watching and looking forward to that stuff. What's up, Scotty? Good to see you, brother. Chris, what's going on with Cheddar Comics? Lots of sales, I'm sure.
Yeah, got a sale coming up Thursday. I had off this week, so I was buying some stuff, but I'm working on my next video right now about the history of corner boxes. So that should be coming out.
That's cool.
I don't know.
Cool.
So deep dive on the history of corner boxes.
Awesome deep dives. I still always talk about his Gambit.
I appreciate that so much.
The definitive deep dives.
The definitive Gambit deep dive. That's what I call that one. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I don't know. Thanks to you, I need a Godzilla versus
Charles Barkley.
There you go.
That one too. Yeah, that was good too. Josh, what's going on with you? Buying?
Yeah, well, I don't have any YouTube content, but I'm at the I'm setting up as a vendor this upcoming Sunday, the Western Mass Comic Show.
First
and
time
if you're in the New England area, come on down. Maybe see me, buy a couple of books, see Mike, I'm sure, and a bunch of other people. And I look forward to August and Terrificon. You guys, I'm a hugger.
Hell yeah.
Dude, bring it in. I'm a hugger too.
Bring it in, guys. Yeah, absolutely. I'm in.
John,
can't wait, Josh.
What's going on over your channel?
I just had Omni X-Men with my man No Good Comics on Tuesday. We were doing issue 193. We got annual 8 coming up on Justin's channel this coming Tuesday. We're working our way through the John Romita era issue by issue, and we got some Jamoke coming to join us here soon. Some real knucklehead.
Some guy is going to bring up a lot about Colossus.
Really going to drag the whole thing down, but but it should be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it a lot. That's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday
on No Good Comics.
Correct, sir.
Troy, what's going on your channel?
This weekend I'm gonna be working at the Texas Frightmare. On Kane Hodder's line. People don't know that's Jason. Hopefully I'm gonna get some autographs there. I'm gonna try and get some video. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna be able to do with that, but
nice.
Michael Ironside's there. The cast of screen.
Nice.
There.
Wow.
Some big names.
Cool. Yeah.
And so this is a horror comic or a horror convention, right? Like
horror
horror
convention
pop culture
biggest
convention.
one in Texas.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
It's huge. And I got some pickup videos coming out soon. That's about it for me.
Great.
So sick.
Enjoy that con. That sounds cool. Mike, what's going on your channel? Always something.
This weekend I have 2 shows. I have the 3 Men in a Basement comic swap tomorrow. I also have the Western Mass show that Josh mentioned. Brimfield was this week, so I was there hunting. So I have a ton of content coming out. But the one on Monday is the one I'm most excited about because it's a video I almost didn't make. In fact, that's the thumbnail. I felt weird about it. And just to show you what I'm talking about, this is the stuff I got a couple thousand of these.
Yikes.
1,000.
Not 1,000. It was nice. And I'm getting a line with Chris here. Instead of X-Men 1s, I'm hoarding Spidey.
Oh my God. Holy crap.
There's a story there. I'm pretty excited for this video. I think we're going to get some interesting comments on this one. So stay tuned.
No
I'm pretty
kidding.
excited for this one.
Yeah.
He paid $1.50 for all
Quite
that.
the collection that Mike just picked up. I can't wait to watch that video.
Insane.
Dan, what's going on with you? You got a collection you're trying to sell too, right?
Yeah. So, personally, what's going on with me is my dad's friend commissioned his collection to me, and just said, "Hey, you sell it because I don't want to deal with this stuff, and we'll just split it 50-50." And so, what an opportunity! There's a lot of work, but it felt like an amazing opportunity, right? And
That's awesome.
So that's why I've been amping up trying to sell in different ways. Whether it's
so many good books. I keep sending
Instagram.
people your way. It's so good.
Oh yeah, no, great stuff. Like so it's been a lot of fun and a big learning experience, and it's definitely I just can see it as pushing toward my goal of getting that high grade giant size X-Men. Hold 181 mid grade. That's what I'm going for. So, and going to Terrificon, I can do that all this year. I'm pretty confident now, and I'm really excited about that. Thank you.
Absolutely love it. And as far as my channel goes, I am due to put out some content. I have been taking a little bit of a editing and filming siesta lately. So I have a video that I've already shot that I got to edit. And then I gotta film a few more, try and get some stuff in the hopper. But of course, you can still always come back for live streams and live sessions like the Council of X, which I'm sure we'll be back on in a couple weeks. So just keep an eye peeled for upcoming content here. And guys, again, thanks so much for
Ryan. Wait. One question. Your video.
Mm-hmm.
Does the wallet make an appearance?
If I film it, I've been thinking about it. We'll see.
All right.
So stay tuned for that. And so guys, thanks so much. And also just one last shout out to Still Only 35 Cents. And
absolutely
for
all the great people that stopped by tonight.
For the super chats tonight.
Those awesome
very,
super
very
chats,
kind and generous, and so appreciate. So thank you guys, and thank you to everybody watching, and we'll see you on the next Council of X.